Hi there, say hi as you come on. Just waiting for a few more people and then get started. Hey Ali, how are you? Thanks for tuning in, appreciate you. Hey Moses, how are you? Togoza. What area am I in? Moses, I am in the USA. I am in Canada. How are you doing today? Togoza. I'm gonna get started. Hey Robert, how are you? Thank you. Thokozani Zihlobo, Thokozani Nonkeni, Thokozani, we're greeting you. I greet you as Obogogo Labomkulu because I recognize that as you are here, you come alone, but you stand as many. I recognize and I humble myself before you guys and your ancestors and your elders. Thank you for joining me on this live. I just thought I would come on today and share a little bit about, I always say a little bit because this is such a vast topic, but I wanted us to talk about African spirituality and nature, and get an understanding as to what role nature plays in African spirituality. And just to take it a step back and redefine African spirituality so that you understand it in contrast to, because unfortunately we have to put it in contrast to something else to make it a little bit understandable to other people. So African spirituality really is a way of being and existing that is intrinsic and original to the people of Africa before there was the imposition of any other foreign religion. In other words, when we talk about African spirituality, we're talking about a worldview. We're talking about a way of interacting with one another. We're talking about a way of interacting with nature, a way of interacting with the cosmos, a way of interacting with the elements, a way of interacting with ourselves, and a way of interacting with the Supreme or God or whoever it is you believe in the universe. It is also about a way of interacting with those who've gone before us. So in African spirituality, we believe in a community of the living, us, and a community of us, right? We're the living, and a community of who we might call the living dead. In isiXhosa and isiZulu, we call them amatonga. Amatonga meaning those who've gone to sleep. The word tonga comes from the word sleep. And so amatonga are those who have gone to sleep. In other words, they are no longer with us in this physical body, but they are in another realm. A realm that is not somewhat some removed place called heaven. They are literally in another dimension where they have access to us and we can have access to them just like that, right? So I wanted to discuss nature in African spirituality. Like I said, it is about our interaction with nature and how we viewed nature and how we use nature. Guys, I'd really appreciate it if you shared this video out to your friends, share it out. If you get any value from any of these teachings, I'd really appreciate it. And so what is our relationship with nature? In African spirituality is not divisive. It does not divide. It is holistic. So for us as African people, nature is us, right? And we are nature. In other words, when we see nature, we see the extension of the Supreme. Just like we are manifestations of the supreme in human flesh. We see trees and animals as a manifestation of the supreme in terms of animals and in terms of rivers and mountains and the sea and trees. So there is a fundamental respect for nature, a fundamental veneration for nature that is intrinsic in African spirituality, based on an understanding that without nature and nature's gifts and nature's bounty, we really do not have life. There is an understanding of the interdependence and codependence that exists between ourselves as humans and nature. Plants, for example, in traditional African medicine, there is a reverence to plants. Those who are gifted with healing with plants know how to speak to a plant to get out of the plant that which they require. Those gifted know what time of the year to harvest these plants to get maximum benefit from the plant itself, but also to do minimum damage to said plants. There is an understanding that when we walk barefoot on the earth, we are dependent on the elements and the elements, the minerals that are in the earth for our health. For example, you notice I wear copper bangles. This is nothing new. This has been going on since ancient times, the making of jewelry. We extracted from the earth that which we needed, not just to look pretty, but for our actual physical health. Remember, the elements of the earth, when you think of it from scientific terms, you guys know about neutrons, electrons, atoms, the nucleus, and all this stuff. African science may not articulate it like that, but Africans knew the benefits that they got from minerals in the earth. This is why there was never a quest to plunder and rape and pillage Mother Earth, because we understand that her integrity is our health. Everything was done with a reverence for all things that are on the earth, all things that are under the earth, in the earth, all things that are in the oceans, all things that are between the skies and the earth. We understood the cosmos. We understand how we are dependent on the moon cycle to tell us what time of year it is, to tell us when it is a time to harvest, when it is time to sow, when is it a time to reap, when is it a time to plow. So our interaction with nature is from that state or that attitude of reverence, that attitude of understanding that a plant is a living thing that has the imprint of creator. I'll give you a typical example. When the Khoisan go out to hunt, when they hunt an animal, they take a piece of hair of themselves and they leave it at the place of the hunt. It is a symbolic gesture to nature and to the creator that we understand that we have taken, but that we need to give something back. This is a token of our appreciation that we have taken and we're giving back. And even as that animal is being slaughtered or is being prepared, every single thing is used. The meat for food, the hide for clothing, the bones and the cartilage and any other pieces for medicinal purposes. There's always the understanding that a life has been given so that we can live. And we always revered that. This is the same with our rituals. I'm going to do one about spirituality and rituals and the use of animals in rituals. But just in short, it is that same concept. Is that when we spill the blood, when we slaughter, we are understanding that this goat or this chicken is shedding blood, is giving up its life force for me to get healthy, for me to be well, for me to gain favor from my ancestors, for me to have prosperity. There is a deep reverence in everything that we do in African traditional spirituality. There is a sense of, there's always an intentionality about which we move. And so I just wanted to come here and share a little bit about how it is distressing that with the dawn of colonization, So many of our natural resources, including those in the earth and including, of course, our forests and everything else, have been decimated. And that too has contributed to our dis-ease as an African people. It has contributed to our disconnectedness from ourselves because we are nature and nature is us. It has contributed to our states of dis-ease because even our way of eating and interacting with food systems has also been damaged. And so what does that mean for us in these contemporary times? What it means for us is we're having to unlearn certain ways of being so that we can relearn that which is authentic to us. That means certain ways of eating. That means certain ways of interacting with nature. Many people in cities don't even know what does it mean to be grounded? What does it mean to ground myself? It essentially means going onto earth with no shoes on because the shoes insulate you. The shoes and the rubber soles take away the charge that comes out of the earth that is supposed to energize your body. This is what grounding is. Most people in the cities don't know. Most people in the cities have no clue what it is to be outside among trees and to listen with intent to hear. African spirituality reveres the rivers, the forests, the mountains, the lakes, any other bodies of water. We revere these spaces because we understand that when our ancestors, when our relatives die and become ancestors, they become part of nature. Therefore, you will find that when somebody wants to go and do deep veneration of the ancestors, you don't stay in your house. You go to a river where you can connect deeply. It's a portal for spirit to go to that river. Then you can go to a forest and you can light your impepo or your sage and send up a smoke signal, and you can pour your libation, and that essence of the alcohol will call your spirit beings and your ancestors to you so that you can commune better. The best places on this planet to commune with your ancestors and your spirit guides are the mountains, the rivers, the forests, the lakes, all these natural bodies that are gradually being destroyed and are therefore destroying us at our very essence. I want to speak to some of my sangomas and spiritual people. Please, can we keep our rivers clean? We depend on these rivers for ourselves and to give life to the people who come to us for healing. We use rivers for ritual baths. We use rivers to go and pray and to connect with our ancestors and the ancestors of the land. Therefore, please, can we keep these places sacred and clean? To be a spiritual person is to understand that fundamental relationship between me and that river, between me and that forest, between me and that mountain, and understand that without this mountain, I cannot be. Without this river, I am disadvantaged. So I would like to just send that appeal out to fellow spiritual people. Even if you go to a river and you find that other people have left a mess, if you go to a park and you find that people have left litter, I implore you, it takes nothing from you to pick that up and put it in a trash can. If we are spiritual people, then we are the ones who are going to be tasked, and we are the ones who are going to be held accountable to the state of this world right now and to the state of the environment and nature. So I just wanted to come and share this with you. Hey, Estelita. Hey, Robert. Hey, Galabwe. I see a whole bunch of people that I haven't greeted yet. I really just wanted to share this and get this off my chest. Somebody said to me, why would you want to go back to traditional African spirituality? What is traditional, I guess, in this person's mind meant old. As in, it is not contemporary and cannot fit. Well, I beg to differ. The reason we're calling it traditional is because it's to differentiate it, like I said, to differentiate it from that which was brought in by foreigners. So when we say traditional, I'm not saying it's an old, archaic way of doing things. It truly is, but it is still a current and living way of doing things. A current living way of doing things that has actually evolved with African people on the continent. The problem that we have faced is that our spaces have been invaded and ruined, and continue to be invaded and ruined. And I think we are now living in the age where, as a spiritual people, it is up to us to start fighting big corporations, to start fighting greed. Because essentially, this is at the core of why our continent is being ravaged. This is at the core of why the world is in the state it's in. And we know who the first purveyors of greed are. And I think once we come to terms with that, we will be better able to get a hang of who we are in the greater context of the worldview. Hey, Ali Knights. Yes, how are you? Yeah, it is actually not even history. It is current, because I'm an African spiritualist, and I tell you there are thousands of us. So yeah, is it historical? Absolutely it is, because there is a history, and we teach the history because so many of us have no idea about our spirituality because we've been disconnected from it for so long, either because of colonization or because of slavery. And so, you know, I always make an attempt to give some historical context. Sometimes I think I was battling today with whether to teach an African history class and talk about how Africa was organized into kingdoms and how we functioned, as opposed to talk about nature. And then something in me, I always go by how I'm led, said, you need to discuss African spirituality in nature. Perhaps Amadlozi, the elders, thought that this was more important at this time than to delve into the African history. But certainly I will do an African history class where I give a bit of historical background to who we are, who we were before colonization came. And we had these, what I would call these foreign systems of government imposed on us, and why, to some extent, they are failing on the continent, because, you know, when you are given something that goes against your very nature, I always say that eventually that will fall off or it will fail. And so these may be some of the reasons why we're seeing democracies that are ailing, so-called democracies that are ailing across the continent. I really hope you guys gained some insight into nature and African spirituality. And I am so honored that you guys took time today to come and listen to me. Like I said, please share far and wide if you like. And I want to remind you guys again that next Saturday we will do a prayer and patla session, which is really just an ancestral veneration on World Ancestor Day. I will come and do it here on live because I really don't have the facilities to do it any other way. So all are welcome to the session. I will play music. I will actually go through the process of venerating, so you can come and take part. I ask that if you do come and take part, just have a white candle burning in, you know, where you are at, and have a glass of water there. And if you happen to have sage, great. If you happen to have incense, also great. Send up a smoke signal. But yeah, if you don't have any of those, you can literally just come and partake of it by sitting wherever it is you're sitting on your couch, and participating that way. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thokozani nonke. May ancestors guide you. May ancestors protect you going into this week. May ancestors bring you all that you ask for. May the ancestors be your guide. May they be your protection. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. Thokozani.